Welcome everyone to the reaction for the Doctor Tour. It's exciting times in Mario Kart Tour, the #1 most requested track by the fans to make its grand entrance to Mario Kart Tour. Coconut Mall is here. So we're going to race on the variants. We're going to see what kind of changes and excitement those courses have, particularly the reverse and trick version, since that's never been seen before. That is unique to Mario Kart Tour. So if you folks are watching this and you're a player from the main series from Mario Kart 8, well, this just gives a little slice of what Mario Kart Tour is all about. So let's get the download started. And in the meantime, I'll just provide some thoughts going into this. We're going to be having the Mii Hour. Certainly, there's a lot of buzz about what the next wave of Miis will be after this tour, right? So this tour, we're going to be getting the Wario Mii Racing Suit, which isn't much of a groundbreaker, right? That falls in line with everything that we've had so far, but that is a wonderful image right there of Coconut Mall and the Doctor. So what are we going to be looking at here? Start a new tour. Oh, I love this. So they're giving us extra rubies. That's a good start. 1 ruby just for logging in. All right, so Doctor Challenges, 27 days left on this. Must be part of the Doctor Fest. Now, the doctors, Dr. Mario, Dr. Luigi, who are coming in, they won't be alone. In the subsequent tour, we're gonna have another set of doctors, presumably Dr. Peach and Dr. Bowser. So we'll get a look out to see what is involved there. And then join 5 races. Participate in 10 races. So these are all very easy, just like the last time that they did this. I believe it was during the 2.5-year anniversary celebrations. Just a nice little way to get extra rewards on the account, especially if you've been pulling for all of those plus special skills. So we'll be talking about that, the value of the new items, right? And those expectations that come along with that Mii Racing Suit that could be Coinbox. So that's going to be a part of the Mii Hour. You're going to want to stay tuned for that, folks. So anyway, let's just take a quick look at the tour gifts. Point boost tickets appears to be the one there. And all of this looks the same. So yeah, let's just dive right into the news as soon as it loads. Oh yeah, ranked results, forgot about this. So I didn't play ranked mode in the second week, just took the Grand Stars and finished up the tour. So we'll be tiering down, expecting to see lesser competition as a result of that. So obviously we finished in first place in the first week, so we managed to get the ranked reward. The value on those ranked reward high-end carts, if we use the Wild Slugger as an analog for the Firefly cart, then the value doesn't look significant. So if you somehow missed out on that cart, I wouldn't expect to be too disappointed. You know, it will get a paywall track here or there, just not, but it's not going to break the game, right? The price of entry is too low on that. So it's just going to have something that could potentially cover you, but you may have superior options that are more viable for your tickets to invest in. So I certainly wouldn't invest very much into that cart at the given time. You know, let the developers prove to you the value on that, and it likely won't get there. That's the expectation with that. So 2-tour event is starting now, and they already show us we have Dr. Bowser and Dr. Peach. So wow, okay. I wonder if that's going to be a rally tour. In fact, a total of 48 rubies are available, so they're giving us 30 to clear the whole board, and then 18 is there. Better rewards in the token shop. So we have the Blizzard balloons, which I've just been pulling pretty much anytime there's a regular glider. I've been pulling this Blizzard balloons, and the Badwagon is in the Daily Select, so that's not anything to really write home about. All right, so that's a good way to get started. So here we go. The Doctor Tour has begun. Collect the Grand Stars and see if you can complete all the cups. The Coins Aplenty event will be held on Tuesdays and Saturdays during this tour. So it's going to be interesting to see then What will be the token shop for these pipes? Will it be back to coins? Certainly, I think most folks in the audience would agree the coins are a lot more comfortable to pick up on the tracks. You can get them in multiplayer more regularly. You can get them grinding and ranked easier with a wider selection of options. So it's just, for the most part, superior. So tour gifts, dry bones, and gold pass gets the Redmi Dasher and the Swooper. So those are 2 daily selects items. No kind of exclusive value there this time around. So for the duration of this tour, the first course of every cup will boost the Miis. So this is what we were talking about in the previous episode of the Mii Hour. I'll put a card above to the reaction for the Amsterdam tour where we go into more specific detail on that. But basically, in addition to the cup boost that will boost the shelf by 1 of all of the Miis, the first course in every frame of each cup will do the same thing, right? So essentially what that means is that when you have the Mii cup in that first course on the Mii cup, every single Mii will always be top shelf there. So because they're getting a double buff. So if it's bottom shelf, doesn't matter. We'll get 1 buff each and it will be top shelf. So that's the practical implications of that. So the King Boo Mii Racing Suit is on sale now. So look, folks, I mean, this is breaking even before I expected them to, with these ranked rewards now being available in the shop. I told you, folks, we're going to say it again during the Mii Hour, just in case folks are tuning in just for that. But these things are not going to be locked away. The value on these things is too great for Nintendo to pass up having them be for sale in one form or another, right? Whether it's through the pipes, whether it's through their shop, they can't keep this stuff locked away. It has too much of a premium value. It would hurt their revenue. So they really have to proceed forward with making those things available to players, especially when you saw that the ranked rewards for these things was locked behind tier 50. I mean, imagine if you're a new player, like even if you're a new whale player, right? If you want to catch up your account, which isn't extremely advisable in the current landscape of the game, but everyone's free to make their own choice. I mean, are they going to deny those players who are spending just starting off on the game now the chance to have access to these items? Not at all. And it's happening sooner than I was forecasting. So, I mean, that just goes to show the validity of and the urgency on the part of the developers. And we're going to go into more detail on, just what that means for some of these other Miis that are coming out and the entire landscape of things. But this is cool. The brand new capsule special skill, right? How good will it be? What are the expectations? From looking at the teaser image, we saw that it will fire out 3 capsules, right? And that got me thinking, like, triple green shells. Why haven't they done triple red shells, right? Was watching the Kart live stream for his ranked mode, and he picked up, a lot of red shell frenzies grinding for Lucky 7. It's like, they're so inaccurate to begin with. Like, what would the harm be of triple red shells, right? If the accuracy was reduced in that. So this could be kind of like a pathway for that sort of an item. We'll see. Based on the community feedback, you can let me know in the comments. Like, if you pull this item, if you're fortunate enough, then let us know, how is the capsule special skill, right? Where does that rank in your opinion? So Dr. Mario and Dr. Luigi both will get this item in their debut tour. And this is fascinating because in the Discord discussion, if you want to be a member on our Discord, we go into fascinating depths of detail with this game. Community has such a fascination and a zest for Mario Kart Tour. And you can have free access to that, link in the description below. The capsule special skill, similar to that of other new items that have been brought in. So the Super Bell for the cats, as well as we're looking at things that have sets of 4, right? 4 drivers. So the penguins too. So out of the penguin drivers, the 4 penguin drivers, 3 of them have Ice Flower, and then Penguin Toad has Dash Ring. And then we take a look at the cats. 3 of the cats have the Super Bell, and then Mii Hour has the coin box. So will that be a similar situation that plays out here? Because we know that there's 4 doctors. They already showed us in the that little newsflash that we're going to be getting Dr. Bowser and Dr. Peach. And one of them could very likely not have this capsule, right? And I'd say the best chance is that 3 out of these 4 have the capsule. Now all 4 could have it, you know, but then the speculation begins of, if it is 3 out of 4 who possess the capsule, what is the special skill going to be for the 4th driver, right? I know a lot of folks are thinking coin box because that is the most bait-inducing thing that there is, but the Gold Mii will be available starting this tour, right? The ranked, following ranked mode in the 2nd week, so the final hour of this tour. Some folks can gain early access to the Gold Mii, and if you're going for all cup ranking, beware of that last hour push for the all cup ranking top 1000, top 100, even the top 10. There's going to be folks out there who are ready to just dive right into the Gold Mii. Perhaps you might want to just play the field and collect it next tour and see where all the dominoes fall, right? Before, you know, making some big moves with that. As for, we know that there's going to be a new Mii Racing Suit, and it could be coin box. So that could be 2 coin boxes being released simultaneously through the Mii system. So would they put a 3rd coin box in a single tour when generally in the history of the game, we've only seen 1 every 3 months on average? I mean, I certainly don't think so. You know, perhaps maybe something like Bowser Shell, which is a very good special skill. It's, you know, it's the best of the rest. Essentially, it's not considered a plus special skill, so it's real close to triple bananas, you know, in that general ranking of the special skills. So that would be something. You know, would they release Peach with Heart, or, you know, some other like Lucky 7? You know, there's possibilities that are out there. But anyway, that's enough for all the speculation. I leave the rest to you folks. I'm not great at prognosticating the themes and what's going to happen in regards to that. But I love reading your ideas, especially seeing who gets them all right, because very often many of you do manage to get the predictions right on that stuff. So there's the Dr. Mario badge. Looks pretty cool, I gotta say. Yeah, so this is all the same information. If they ever change stuff, I would hope that they'd present a clear news flash. And one thing that has been released, there's murmurs through the data mining out there, is that Koopa Cape could be on its way in that Dr. Bowser and Dr. Peach tour. I'm looking in the background there, and it looks like it's Koopa Troopa Beach, so that's probably their subtle way of hinting at that, which has already been discovered. Look, folks, you know, these rally tours, they get discovered, right? So like, you know, Bowser versus Peach tour, that stuff leaks like the United States Supreme Court. So anyway, let's check out the pipe and see what the value is on this stuff, shall we? Dr. Mario, the Capsule Cart. I know a lot of people wanted an ambulance, so we're gonna have to settle for this kind of, I like the animation on it, but it does look a little bit cheap. That's my personal take on it. I mean, if you think that this cart looks really fascinating, you know, everybody has their own way of looking at things. So also this magnifying glass glider, yeah, I'm not too keen on this. I guess you can see the little microbes with the magnifying glass, but I mean, thematically, it makes sense and everything, but the design on this doesn't speak to me. I do like the look of the Doctor characters. Definitely, like Dr. Mario is so iconic. It's almost like a character unto itself, because you know, there's an entire franchise of games that's built around that theme. Certainly there was the mobile game, as well as his appearances in Smash with unique moveset relative to that, compared to, like, you know, regular Mario and Metal Mario and whatnot. So Dr. Mario definitely feels like more than just your typical Mario alt. And looking at the value here, we see, wow, this is quite a limited selection of tracks, just 8 tracks of starting value. So this is bottom of the mark right here for a starting glider, Bullet Bill Plus. Pretty good actually if you pair that with Coinbox as well as Boomerang. It really can go with anything because outside of Lucky 7, that is, because Lucky 7 you're going to be sandbagging back, 7th, perhaps you might even get 8th place later in the race. So, you kind of want to avoid this skill on the glider when you do have Lucky 7, but when you're grinding for any of those front running or middle position items, those special skills, Giant Banana, Triple Banana, Boomerang, Coinbox, most prominently then. Bullet Bill Plus is very good to have here. But that starting value is pretty rough. We can see it gets Coconut Mall R as level 8, so that's pretty steep. We see Shy Guy Bazaar is back, so it was 13 tours since its last appearance, and now it is here. So this is a key thing to keep in mind with assumed value versus nitro value. We often talk about this, right? This is all assumed value right here. It's a difficult concept to kind of relate. I often, wonder if I should switch the jargon on this, because what assumed value means is that you can just assume that it can be represented in any tour, right? It's not locked behind a certain event or point in the year. They are the retro courses, the ones that have been introduced in past Mario Kart games, right? All the way back to the original SNES to, Mario Kart Wii is the most recent console game that we've had. Retro tracks represented in Mario Kart Tour 4, Mario Kart 7 in terms of handheld. So compared to nitro courses, those are unique to Mario Kart Tour. Well, unique before the Mario Kart 8 DLC package, that is. So that is all of the city courses that have been brought to the game, starting with New York all the way up to Amsterdam, which we just concluded. And the nitro courses also have unique courses like Merry Mountain and Ninja Hideaway. So those are the ones that are more exposed than the cities. The cities are quite locked up, but the nitro courses for Merry Mountain and Ninja Hideaway appear at least twice a year. We've seen, that's basically then. If we consider a year has 52 weeks, a tour is 2 weeks, so that's 26 tours a year. And if Shy Guy Bazaar had been, 13 tours, so that's basically twice a year, although they do sometimes repeat before they disappear for a while, right? Like we've had, like when they gave us Rock Mountain, finally it showed up for a few tours before disappearing for a long time again. So it's not exactly twice a year that we see some of these old original retro tracks that Mario Kart Tour started off with. But I mean, the gaps do get to be of nearly the same extent of the most prolific of the nitro courses. So let's check out this Capsule Cart. Dash Panel Plus doesn't really change much with the skill on that, because we're always going to be looking at what is the value of these courses, right? And especially when we look at the cart, because the cart has the bonus points earned multipliers in addition to the bonus points boost. So the bonus points boost is always going to be most prominent on the driver, because drivers have twice the base points as do carts or gliders. So the bonus points boost, most significant for that of drivers. So you want to have drivers that have, I mean, granted, any item you want to have a large action count potential for all their courses, but I mean, in particular for the cart, if you're looking to invest into these things for a high level, for instance, like a glider also is benefited by having a great number of action count for their particular courses, but that doesn't change with the level up, right? Because they cap out at 45 combo points per action added to your score, whether it's level 1 or level 8. But when it comes to the cart, investing that ticket in will increase the multiplier on those bonus points, the cart actions, the mini turbos, the rocket starts, the jump boosts. So that's significant. And does this composition of courses warrant that? Well, we see that it has access to the Daisy Hill. So Daisy Hills is a pretty fair course in terms of action count. Royal Raceway T, we have RMX Rainbow Road 2, normal version as well as trick version. So there's a lot of coin boxes at play here. Hitbox doesn't look like it's anything special though, so I don't think this is going to be a meta cart. I really don't, folks, especially when you factor in the Donut Plains one. That's a short track and that's got a lot of good carts on that. So starting value on this does have 9 tracks, so the value is average for a cart, but it's running into some immediate problems with its long-term value. So essentially, if this is going to be a significant player in the meta, it would have to be shown a particular degree of favor with regards to its course coverage and composition. And in those situations, I always say, folks, to let the developers prove the value to you before you go all in on this stuff. I mean, unless the Capsule Cart is just something that, you're like, this is my favorite cart in the game, then by all means, have fun with it, go into it. That's my strategy, right? The things that I enjoy, I go in on those, and that's what I have fun using. So that's going to vary for everybody. We all have our own interests. So there we go. Ooh, interesting. They added the jar there with the with the capsules. Okay, interesting. So a slight modification there to the render, which is kind of cool, I guess. And the starting value, also 9 courses. So when it comes to the driver, it's going to be, how does this fit into the metagame, right? And if we take a look here at the coconut malls, well, we're going to take a look at those and the overlaps that they present, taking into consideration all of these other courses. Then this is all assumed value, so it's good, but we see there's a lot of old tracks that have a lot of really good options that you folks are already very likely invested into. So the Royal Raceways have the Peach, the Pauline coin boxers, right? So that's, middleweight, heavyweight coin boxers. That's rough. And then Choco Mountain T, we have King Bob-omb Gold, top of the mark until the Gold Mii Suit in terms of coin box value. I mean, certainly, other things too that aren't in the equation with these courses, like Mii Hour is in that discussion too, Santa Bowser, but Gold King Bob-omb, while he does have a number of overlaps, right? He's kind of going the way of Pauline Party Time, but when you're a heavyweight like that, it's really the composition of courses that you're presenting, because they're never, outside of the Gold Mii Suit, going to be the inferior option, despite the overlaps. And then we take a look at Mario Circuit 3 RT as well as Daisy Hills T. So again, more coin box. I'd say the one course that looks like it could be a bright spot for Dr. Mario is Daisy Hills R, right? I don't believe that it has any of the really top-notch special skills, but that one does have Dixie Kong. So Triple Banana is very likely going to be better than Capsule. She is a standard high-end, but Dixie Kong is not something that people are going to invest into on the level of Coinbox. I mean, unless you're a massive Kong fan like I am. So I think there is a small bright spot for Dr. Mario, but on the whole, that's going to be one. A lot of folks are coming into this with the mindset that this is a savings tour, and if you do play for those plus special skills only, yeah, it does look like a savings tour in this situation. But that's, all on the precipice of the Gold Mii Suit. So let's take a look at the ranked modes, and will the ranked groupings become harder at the onset of the Gold Mii, knowing that this is the final march, right? So folks are in tier 78 at the top of the food chain, and they'll get to tier 80 when all is said and done. So let's take a look at Coconut Mall. We have the silver Mii suit. And there we go. We already have White Birdo. She's already starting her march to fame and glory there. Charge and Chuck and Pink Ninja have been on fire. Pink Ninja, very good front-loaded value from the special pipe in the Samurai Tour, and Charge and Chuck is on a really amazing run for his midterm value phase. So that's phenomenal for folks who are heavily invested into those. Do get the overlap if you're invested into both, but otherwise we have this selection of 2 Marios that's here. And the carts looks pretty slim, so there are some options that have been in the pipes recently though, so that's something to keep in mind. A couple of recent bundle items, as well as this new item here, the coconut one. So this is a reskin, a high-end reskin of the Egg 1 cart. A lot of folks wanted to hear my opinion on this because it's coconuts, and is this at all DK themed? And my response to that is this has no significance in the DK franchise, to me personally anyway. I know it does have the Banana Master wheels, but that's a stretch. Certainly, I know the Kong fans out there, want something to collect so badly. So if you can't hold out, then this might be the thing for you. But for me, it does not have any significance there. Starting value is pretty light. But remember, folks, bundle items receive their value much differently than that of those in the pipe. I study the ones in the pipe most carefully, but I have over time, seen how the value progresses on these things, and I can say that just because it has that starting value, it does not mean that this is going to be a trash cart. But the hitbox is small on this as well. The Egg 1, I use it in multiplayer because it's got a really good hitbox, and Rocket Start Plus doesn't really do anything for multiplayer. So this is kind of just a collectible at this point, and if the value gets there being a pack item, then it could. But once again, the metagame significance of such a small cart like that, it's gonna be niche, when there's so many other options that can form optimal compositions out there. It's not mandatory. No single cart is mandatory. So really go after the ones that support and prop up the value of your own strategy. So if you do go for those plus special skills with Coinbox, go for the big size hitbox carts, As well as this cart, which will be in the special pipe. This one has Mini Turbo Plus. Again, smaller size on the hitbox for the bruisers. Not very big. I'd say it's average size, really. It's the middle of the pack. So similar deal, starting value. We'll go into more detail on the white bruiser in the special pipe analysis on the weekend. Just a little bit of foreshadowing here, since the trends do play out until they break precedent. There's always a range of possibilities, folks, right? So I always say that just because a trend is a trend doesn't mean it always has to be or always was. So just like saying, like in greater than 90% of situations, these items get front-loaded value, like we see with the Pink Ninja, and then things slow down in mid and late-term value, right? And that's all based on the premium that you're going into that pipe for. And so we'll go into greater detail on that. And we see Rambi. Did the Rambi get a buff, actually? Let's check that out. Curious to see. So no buff for the Rambi. That's also in the special pipe along with the white bruiser. So we have the banana wingtip as top shelf. Wow, when was the last time that got a track? I'm not even going to bother looking at it. The value on the wingtips is really, really low. Very marginal value on that. So we have a 1 middle shelf, 1 loadout, pretty weak. Okie dokie. So now we take a look at Rmx Mario Circuit 1 RT. So this one is a Coinbox track. We have some options here. I have Black Yoshi. There's some Miis that are available. Now, one thing I do want to note here is actually what's prominent is that this silver Mii suit buff probably is a result of that Mii boost that is from the first track in the frame. So we see, folks, there was no buff there. Remarkable. We'll go into the Mii Hour very shortly, as soon as we're done looking at the ranked modes. So, I have the level 3 here. Redmi Dasher, very strong cart in my inventory. So we also see some of those brand new wagons, recent Gold Pass gifts. So a lot of options there, as well as the supers that are in play. And then we have some super gliders. So this is, you know, free to play friendly. Just be careful with investing your tickets into old items. Make sure that, you know, you're not going sunken cost on value for ranked mode unless the significance and meaning of that is really there for you. So 354 loadout, nothing special still. This is not looking like a great ranked mode for me, although we have the Rambi runner here. So I have level 3 Blackbirdo. This is the one track where they overlap here, is the Rambi runner and the yellow off-roader. So we'll be going with the Rambi, of course. But no glider. Yeah, I never picked up a glider for this course. So Sunset Balloons, of course, is an option that's available there in the all clear pipe. And the other ones are pretty much special pipe items. So if you've been pulling on these special pipes, then you are likely to have coverage for this, but otherwise you're stuck with middle shelf. So this is not a particularly swell ranked mode for me, that is for sure. Yeah, let's just check out the second week. So they have 2 coconut malls, so everything is ranked mode, and this is going to be interesting. They've broken precedent here. They do this with the city courses. This is the first time, I do believe, in the history of Mario Kart Tour they've ever introduced a brand new retro course and given all 3 of the debuting variants ranked mode. That's probably why then, okay, so these Miis are coming into play now. They made it just a little bit more favorable for folks to have top shelf, and that explains why the silver Mii got the middle shelf buff for the first one, and now this. The buff probably is, okay, so that's a legitimate buff then. So that's, this is not Mii boosted, this is a permanent buff to its top shelf. We look at the other options here, the Mario, then, yeah, so the Mario is the Mii boosted one, folks. But we look at the options, wow, they just, so this is the thing, folks. They crushed the plus skill buffed overlap values. Look at that. We have Gold Egg Yoshi coin box. We have Volendam here, Boomerang, as well as the other Boomerang that was featured in the special pipe Kangaroo Yoshi. So that is now 3 top skills there, all converging into one buff. So I mean, this is what we see. I mean, kind of, this is even more extreme than the week 1 with Pink Ninja and Charge and Chuck. Yeah, I mean, that's the state of Mario Kart Tour now. So if you're someone that's investing in polling for all of these things, well, you know, what's the return value on that? It's really exploitation. That's what it is. They're exploiting their players incrementally more over time. You know, it's like, it's kind of hard to characterize it as like foot in the door versus door in the face, because I mean, the game kind of started out off as door in the face, and it's worked its way. Generosity has been increased greatly with Mario Kart Tour, but there is that increasing level of commitment that they're forcing upon the most prominent of the paying players out there, and it's something to keep an eye on. I hope folks are definitely considering it. You know, I have data that could shed more light on the ecosystem, the economics of Mario Kart Tour. I want to focus on the things that are exciting for folks, you know, and that will evolve the game, right? But if this kind of trend continues, I'll have no choice, really, but to present, you know, that kind of data and information to add the additional context so that folks really don't get hurt when they go into this. You know, my entire interest is about you. It's about you and the community. And, you know, when the ecosystem gets this aggressive, it's definitely something that needs to be stated. So I'll leave it at that for now. And that dialogue and discussion could continue onwards, but we'll see how things play out. And in the meantime, you know, we're going to continue focusing on the data and all of the exciting things that are coming out. There's a new series that I'm going to be launching with regards to optimal coverage. It's going to coincide with the launch of the coverage optimizer from a Turtle Dude, so you can get your hands on that tool and access it yourself without forming requests through our Discord server. So we have a lot of exciting stuff coming up here. Anyway, carts, a lot of recent spotlight items. We see the combo cruiser, the prop cart, so as well as the week 1 cart here. So and then the Starry Great Sale. I mean, this thing, okay, this is a powerhouse glider. Now, the thing is, and this is great timing on bringing up the coverage optimizer, is that like, hey, you know, the assumed value on this glider is sensational, but it might not be top of the mark like the Black Great Sale. But actually, in practice, this Starry Great Sale is more valuable of an optimal glider for folks' accounts out there than is the Black Great Sale, because the Black Great Sale overlaps a lot of the other optimal options. So when you're investing into all of these different things, they converge on each other, and the optimal coverage requires you to make an additional investment into an extra glider to compensate for that. Whereas this Starry Great Sale complements perfectly the other top options that are available. So you're spending less tickets to get the same coverage investing into this versus something like the Black Great Sale, which is a tremendous glider. I'm not telling folks not to invest into that, but just providing the context, that data for you, so that you're going in there with the understanding, like, if I invest into this, it's going to be more costly to cover all the other tracks that I need to have covered. All right. And we can see here, as of the given moment, the other ones it overlaps with are not any of the other top optimal gliders. But what's interesting is this Luigi's mustache. The Green Sprout gang, shout out to them, have been looking at Luigi's mustache as an analog, which is a concept that we've introduced here, and trying to project the value, the range of outcomes that we could see. And Luigi's mustache is one such analog that they've chosen. So we can see there, picked up 1 course of value, which is relatively low, but it's a paywalled course. So looking at the overall value on this, it's a bit lower, but this is something that we're seeing a bit more frequently with items in the 3rd year of the game, because they keep repeating the same brand new retro courses that they're introducing, like Bowser's Castle being featured, you know, 5+ times, Mushroom Gorge, the same thing, Yoshi Valley, right? I mean, these things just keep reappearing over and over and over again, and that limits the exposure to older courses then, where, you know, this value could expand further down the list there. So there is a little bit of a shakeup of things that's going on, and that's why, you know, we don't live and die by the trends. We just use them to inform us, and then assessing a probability of, okay, so this is the most likely thing, but that doesn't mean it will happen. You know, I'm always very, very clear with how I assess the value of this stuff with you folks. You know, I don't say like, you know, that's going to have 35 courses, take it to your bank. That's not what we do here. We save the bank statements for the most clear and confident of our assessments on these things. Otherwise, it's just saying like, it could be this or it could be that. Like that is, you know, like the 95% likelihood range of where something's going to end up. Anyway, amazing discussion just looking at the top shelf. I mean, we could talk about Mario Kart Tour all day, right? Fantastic game. So here we go, Rmx Ghost Valley 1 RT. A lot of options here. King Boo Misu is going to be my best. Too bad it's not the Diddy Kong Cup, because that would have been his first ranked mode appearance in 53 tours, is it? I don't know. Amazing what has been done there, but we won't digress on that. So I'm missing a cart for this. Not too good there. A lot of great options though. And then we have the Dream Glider, which is very good. But this is the thing, folks. So like the Candlelight Flight, and this is the problem also if, you know, the tracking that you're doing is focusing on the value of recency, because when you start investing into recency, this is what happens, right? Like if I said, hey, the Candlelight Flight is the #1 glider in the game, which statistically, you know, it was very recently. But look at, there's the Dream Glider. Another recent glider is being, having convergent coverage, right? So convergent coverage is a huge issue, and it's one that I've talked a lot about in value progression, you know, looking for items that debut, you know, at certain points, right? Because value is assessed at very regular intervals, of course with a range too, but I mean, those ranges follow a very clear and distinct trend, even considering all of the outliers in those situations. And there's specific points, like I had mentioned several months ago, like the ideal time for pulling on items when assessing their starting values, about 9 to 10 tours, right? That's how you can avoid all overlap virtually. And that is through comparing the initial starting value of that new item that's being presented to the one that you already have powered up in your inventory from 9 or 10 tours ago. If the overlap is, you know, between like 0 and 10% there, you can rest assured that the courses that are coming in likely won't present a large degree of overlap. And also the buffing cycles then won't be overlaying each other, so that the new paywalled courses that they're gaining access to, they won't be stepping on each other's toes there. So just a bit more context for you folks. Not a great loadout. I mean, I don't see what I can do in these ranked modes, to be honest, and that's okay. You know, that's just, you know, we just take a more grounded, balanced approach. And interesting though, Donkey Kong gets a middle shelf buff there, so he could perhaps get Coconut Mall Tea as a future top shelf track with the Donkey Kong Cup. So that appears to be the most they've given the Kong fans in this tour. What's interesting to note here is we see the Daisy Farmer. Now this is the effect of the break in precedent with having all of the Coconut Malls then in ranked mode, because I was telling the Green Sprout gang that, you know, barring a break in precedent, which we see here, then, you know, the items in that week 2 pipe won't be in ranked mode for the new paywall tracks in its second tour. But lo and behold, every single Coconut Mall now is in ranked mode. So there's the break in precedent, and there's that value. So they got one track of top shelf value. So Captain Toad standard high end, don't have a cart for this one here as well, going with the middle shelf. And there's the Green Sprout, so there's the top shelf favor that it gets as a result of this brand new way of doing things. Kind of shakes up the landscape just a little bit there. And it's something we'll have to keep an eye on and chart as we move forward. Will all new retro courses being brought in be similar to cities, and it's just, you know, totally loading them into ranked mode? Well, that definitely devalues older courses. And what it also does is it goes back into the exploitation that I was talking about, how forcing people to constantly make prisoner of the moment upgrades on these brand new things, and then they all end up with overlaps on the new courses. So everybody's going to be getting a lower return value on their investments. I mean, this is how I look at things from my free-to-play player perspective, right? Like, you know, we have to grind so hard just to get access to the resources that we have available to us. So it's been my focus the entire time that I've played, is just getting to the bottom, like what is that exact resource value that it's adding, and then applying that to a number of different concepts that are out there, you know, and it has effects and impacts across the entire landscape of Mario Kart Tour. So let's check out the shops, kind of doing things in a little bit of a different order. So we looked at the ranked modes now, which is actually good though, because now that I know that the Coconut Malls are on all of the tracks, we can see that There's the Wario, so the 70 rubies discount there. We'll take a look at his starting value, how it matches up with all of the other ones. So interesting, the Redmi suit is in the shop. Wow, so did the Redmi get a buff? Interesting, so you have to... That's a weird, because that's not even locked, right? Like if you just log in this tour, if you're a brand new player this tour, let us know. You have access to the Redmi suit right off the bat. So you're paying 100 rubies for a high-end level up ticket? That's pretty gross. I gotta tell you folks, that's off-putting to me. I don't know, am I being irrational on that? I don't think so though. I think that is very aggressive. So anyway, oh, interesting. So they have a condensed token shop. So better rewards for sure. We have one high-end ticket there, so 2 there, so it's gonna be 3 on the normal. It looks like these are gonna be the same. So I'll come on and I'll have, we had a really great time on the last one. I'll put a card above in case you miss it. Token shop pipes were on fire. Great discussion on just the perspective on the game and whatnot. So this is looking like a good token shop. How many coins do we have? So 5,000 coins, that's nice. Shop, we don't have anything here, but that's okay. Daily Selects has been on fire lately from my account. Steel Driver, yeah, nothing too swell there, I have to say, but I do like the token shop. Anyway, let's do our little bit of a reset here. Get things going for the Mii Hour. I think most folks just tune in on the reaction to see the Mii Hour, but still just gotta like center the energy here because there's a lot to look at on this. So let's go over to the drivers here. All right, here we go. Welcome folks to the Mii Hour. We're here. Coconut Mall is in Mario Kart Tour. It's the Doctor Tour. How those two things relate to each other, I don't know. Maybe Mario set up a minute clinic in the mall. But anyway, we're here to assess the value on these Miis, the latest information on the landscape of the Mii Racing Suits, what is still to come. Everybody wants to know about that, as well as the entire wealth of data. Have some of the most recent numbers that are available to everyone here. So if that sounds good to you all, please drop a like on this video and subscribe to the channel. It really does help support all of the effort that goes into crunching the numbers and making these conclusions possible. Thank you so much for all the support. I love this show. So we're going to start off with the Redmi Racing Suit. Now this is one that had 8 top shelf courses, 9 middle shelf courses. Believe it or not, folks, they're trying to sell this. Available to everyone for free even now. But if you want to take it to level 2, folks, you gotta pony up 100 rubies. I don't know how I feel about that. I don't want to say how I feel about that. You can imagine, right? That's pretty darn aggressive. But they gave it a buff. So they're like, hey, if we're gonna sell this for 100 rubies for you to take it to level 2, which first of all, folks, let me just go back and talk about conversion factors for the economics in this game. And that is rubies can be converted to coins through a metric called coins per ruby. And that is comparing the value of your rubies through the items that you can receive in the pipe. So the average number is approximately 400 coins per ruby spent when you go into a pipe, right? Those numbers will vary based on the concentration of high ends in each pipe, right? So if you go into a very lucrative special pipe, then it's much greater than 400. It's going to be like 500, plus to go into a pipe like that. But, those weekly spotlight pipes like the Dr. Mario that we have in this tour, that's actually less than 400 coins per ruby. So factoring in that players will be going into a little bit of each kind, it's approximately 400 coins per ruby across the entire history of Mario Kart Tour. And what does that mean? Well, that means that 100 rubies times 400 coins per ruby is going to be, what's that, 40,000 coins, folks? compared to that of 12,000 coins for a high-end driver ticket. So it's almost like it's overcharging you like 3.5x. It's like, don't do it, folks, don't do it. I'm just telling you. Anyway, we have fun here. I love this program. We're only on the Redmi Suit and we're already having fun. This is great. So one buff for the Redmi. And then here we have one buff as well. So the Donut Plains 1T. And these are significant because we see they have access to the Mii Boost, the first cup, that's the upper left-hand course on each cup in that frame. It's going to have a shelf boost. So if that happens to be Donut Plains 1T, well, now you have top shelf Redmi Racing Suit. And of course the Mii Cup. So if that was in the Mii Cup, automatic top shelf then. Anywho, 1 and 1 were the additions for the Redmi Racing Suit. Let's take a look at Mario here. He had top shelf 10, middle shelf 7 coming into this tour. Picked up the Mario Circuit 3 RT. So now he's up to 11 top shelf courses, and that's the permanent value. That's the one that you really want to be assessing. What is the significance of these characters for your inventory? And then we take a look here. Picked up quite a lot of middle shelf, actually 3 middle shelf, which makes sense because Mario was lagging behind the others in terms of that initial debut that was in the shop. But we see how these things are themed according to the track composition, right? Like it's picking up the Mario circuits, and a lot of these have been absent for a while. So now, interesting to see it picked up the Coconut Malls as middle shelves, which does play. Because Coconut Mall R, we already saw by looking at the ranked cup, is the first one in that frame, which means that Mario Mii Racing Suit is going to be top shelf. Really shows the value, but that's just one course, right, where it's being added to that top shelf. So when we're trying to assess the value of like, okay, so what's his value overall, right? So we have these 11 courses now. Well, then, you know, you can say, well, he's about top shelf 12 then, or like 12.7, you know, factoring in, you know, the frequency that one of those is going to hit in the either a Mii Boost or a Mii Cup, right? But as we can see, a lot of these courses, you know, they're not in this current tour like the Sky Garden. So, as is the case, though, with a lot of these things, especially what we see from the drivers, the super drivers, the originals that we all started the game off with, the character correspondence of these racing suits, then the middle shelf value actually plays a more significant factor than their top shelf value, because that's what's going to be buffed in these ranked cups. Moving on to Peach now, she had the early favor. So she had 11 courses of top shelf and 10 courses of middle shelf. And we know that Royal Raceway is in this tour. So will her value climb continue? I think that could happen. And what do you know, folks? Royal Raceway T. So that's top shelf 12 now. And picks up the other Royal Raceway in the middle shelf. So middle shelf 11, there you go. I mean, very predictable pattern that the ones that were debuting in the shops are following. And then still no Toad's Circuit in this tour. So now, you know, if this Toad is going to get the value, it's going to be through one of the other themes, perhaps, you know, one of the Mario circuits or the Royal Raceways. But we can see here, no, his value is still stuck at 10, so no buffs for the Toad. Had 10 coming into this tour, and it still has 10. So now Toad is the one that's starting to lag behind. Yeah, still 10 on this count too. So nothing was done with Toad. And this is kind of the phase that we're moving into now with the Miis, because it's not really about these Miis, is it, folks? It's really about the ones that, the heavy hitters that we're going to talk about in just a little bit. We warm up to that, though. We don't just launch all into, you know, like what's the most valuable one? You know, we look at the entire landscape, because if we ignore a lot of these other things that are going on, it removes context to what the value of those really important things are. So here we see Luigi's Mii Racing Suit. He had 9 courses of value. Picked up 2 though, the Donut Plains 1T top shelf as well as the Daisy Hills. And picked up the Donut Plains in the middle shelf now. So Luigi's value is now at 11 top shelf, 13 on the middle shelf. So Luigi's kind of surged ahead quite a bit there. Still have not had Luigi's Mansion in a tour yet, it appears. So Luigi's not had his story fully written yet. Which really kind of draws into question then, like, it doesn't seem like there's much of a difference between the ones that they've given out for free versus the ones that have been paid in the shop. It's a specific theme and a range of what, you know, they're looking players to invest into, and these ones that don't have the plus special skills for sure. We're seeing that extra little cut of value. You know, my expectations is around that 14 to 15 course range. But it depends, you know, how long they carry on the lifespan of these Miis. Like, could that continue onwards? You know, Rosalina got a tremendous amount of value last tour because of the Rosalina's Ice World, but what could she really add this tour? Nothing, see? She's still at 12 courses, so they're getting these lump sum buffs, basically, at points when it matches them thematically, right? Like, we have the Rainbow Road and the Rosalina, as well as that was her middle shelf buff, but we see she picked up 2 middle shelf buffs this tour, and that's kind of how they extend the value on these things, right? So now she is at 12 middle shelf, with the addition of those 2, along with 12 top shelf, 0 was added there. Now we get to the DK Mii suit, right, folks? This is the one everybody was like, oh, you gotta go for the DK suit because it has giant banana, and it's, you know, the bonus points boost is increased as a result of the base points addition from each Mii that you have in your inventory, plus 10. A real powerhouse, but I said, look, folks, they balance the game. They know what they're doing, and I see what they're doing, so that's why I share it with all you folks here. Limited course coverage, right? Didn't have a single track added until Choco Mountain last tour, and these things are themed, and I don't see a Dino Jungle or a Rock Mountain as I indicated, so you know where I think these buffs are going. Right there. I mean, it's really a no-brainer. It's becoming that anyway. But yeah, even the middle shelf, so it's still stuck at middle shelf 10, top shelf 8. That's pretty rough. Oh, you know, and here's the thing, folks, if you invested heavily into the DK Mii suit and you're looking at getting the Gold Mii suit, that Choco Island 1RT, where it's currently the best option, say goodbye to that one, because the Gold Mii is going to snatch that. And, you know, then at that point, it's just looking to overpower some of the other coin box options on these other tracks, the conventional coin boxers, right? Like the Mii Hours of the world and the King Bob-omb Golds of the world. Anyway, most prominently King Bob-omb Gold in the case of DK Mii suit there. Okay, we're getting into some of the spicy ones now. The ones that have larger value, like these have been treated differently, and I've made that point clear right from the get-go. These follow a slightly different trend than do the ones from the regular shop. So this is the Boomerang, and it received a Daisy Hill, so we're now up to 12 top shelf courses. It had 11 previously. It had 7 middle shelf. So are we going to see anything here? Yes, we do. Up to 8. So it had +1 and +1 on top shelf and middle shelf. So that just extends the value out a little bit more. Now the bronze Mii suit is the closest to the general Mii shop racing suits, right? So the value on this is probably going to be like around that, you know, 14, 15, 16 range area. Now, when I originally thought, what could these Mii suits represent? I was thinking, I said 18 to 22, and that was without any data that was available. And now it's getting to the point where it looks like the silver and the gold Mii Racing suits are going to hit the nail on the head for that 18 to 22. And perhaps if the life span is continued onwards with these things, we could see them just eclipse those margins slightly. But that was pretty well on point in terms of where these will end up. So the silver Mii Racing suit has 14 courses, and we know from the ranked check before, didn't pick up any new tracks, so it's still at 14. But they're not waving goodbye to silver just yet, because they said, we're gonna add the coconut malls in. And that coconut mall right there is relevant because the end version is the first frame in the first cup, which means it's top shelf for just this tour. But that's relevant because it's a ranked appearance. So Silver Mii skates by with this intangible value that we're just starting to quantify here, folks. We're really pushing the needle on the data and the meaning of that, the significance of it. Also picks up the Coconut Mall T, but that is in the third frame of the cup, which is the week 2 items spotlight boost. So that does the Silver Mii no favors whatsoever. And now we're here, folks. It is the Gold Mii time, and that will kind of see how everything has come together, right? Because folks out there will have access to this by the end of the tour. Congratulations, by the way. Really a wonderful achievement if you're able to get that this tour. If not, certainly I know a lot more folks will be getting it next tour. And it is nice that Mario Kart Tour, Nintendo has added something to the game that's made it feel purposeful to continue to tier up, and in the way that they've capped the rubies at 40 for ranked cups since tier 40, right? And that's something I largely expected them to do. That was one of the first things I ever said in the community. I said they're never going to expand that beyond 40 because they need to keep that below that for a single 10 pull, because 10 pulls give you value, right? You get 1 pull for free basically. If you do 5 ruby 10 pulls, that's 50 rubies, but you could do a 10 pull for 45. So they're not going to give away a free value pull in that situation. They're going to make folks buy a bundle pack, one of those economy packs for like 3 or 4, whatever it is in your currency, right? Have to buy a couple of them to get over 45. So but they have increased the cap tickets, but now that's something extra, right? Something special that will make it meaningful for players that have been that deeply committed to the game. And it's good to see, but we have to offset that against the damage and that it can cause within the balance of the game. So taking a look at what it got, it picked up 2 top shelf buffs here. So now this is up to 19 courses, right smack dab in the middle of that initial range that I projected. So at Gold Mii's availability, 19 courses right between 18 to 22. Will likely receive more courses since he hasn't been exposed to everything yet. So that's going to edge closer to the 22. Could perhaps get a little cream on the top and go a little beyond that. So we'll see how it goes. There's certainly a cutoff point not too far after that where it would have deleterious effects on the balance of the ecosystem. So, anything beyond 25 would be really damaging to the game because of how it displaces the investments and the things that they have to sell on all of the other courses, including Coinbox drivers through the pipes. That has been, kind of like the gold standard, no pun intended, for revenue and investment for both the developers and players. So picks up the Bowser's Castle 1T. I want to qualify these a little bit because Bowser's Castle 1T is a Hakama Mario track as well as a Meowser track. So Meowser is currently the superior option on this course, but that removes that superiority from Meowser, gives it to the Gold Mii Suit. And that's the thing, Meowser had top level Coinbox value until what will eventually be Gold Egg Yoshi, and now this kind of simultaneously. So that's Gold Egg Yoshi might not ever have that beacon of being the most superior Coinbox driver. Just based on the concentration, the aggressiveness with which Nintendo is releasing these plus skill items. And then we have the Shy Guy Bazaar R, which is a Tuxedo Mario track. He's the only Coinboxer there, so it displaces his Coinbox unique status, as well as a Shy Guy Ninja course. And Shy Guy Bazaar is a very good Coinbox boombox track. Not just for boomboxing, but the Boomerang skill itself, because you get those on the coin rings, and it's, basically like a boombox or a coin box in that situation. So You don't even need the boombox, but it's a boomboxable course nonetheless, in addition to just being a wonderful boomerang track. So, but Gold Mii, with the base points being what it is, the bonus points boost that will be generated, still have not seen where that all caps out in terms of the value on the base point cap, right? Presumed to be 1,600, and that would be 20 additional Mii Racing Suits, which would be 21 total. And it was data mined that there are 24 Mii Racing Suits that were created, so that would mean that then you can skate by without 3. And there's only been 3 of the ranked ones, so if you want to buy them all in the shop, you can. But we can see that the shop exclusivity is gone now from the ranked rewards, because you can now gain access to the King Boo, which was originally a ranked reward. That came out way earlier than I expected, folks. But did we ever hit the nail on the head with that? I said, they will not deny players the chance to pony up the rubies, or you know, the real world currency equivalent for those rubies. Make no mistake about it, folks, and those words were prophetic. So even when it comes to the Gold Mii Racing Suit, I don't want to take anything away from this. Well, first of all, let's take a look at the middle shelf value. So we're up to 19 top shelf courses, and it has access to, looks like we have 10 middle shelf courses. So it just picked up the one Bowser's Castle, it appears, because it had 9 in the previous tour. So not to take anything away from what this Gold Mii Racing Suit represents, but I do want to, because I look at the entire field, folks. There's no prisoner of the moment that goes on with the content on my channel. And that is, Tier 80 is not the end game for Mario Kart Tour. They're going to have to expand that beyond further, or just the service of the game will be concluding, right? So obviously we want to see more things after Tier 80, otherwise that's a signal that the game has come to an end. With that being said, then, as the tiers increase, so will the availability of this item, and as the availability of this item increases, they're going to have to sell it one way or another. I'm not saying it's going to be in the Mii shop per se. You know, it could be in a really like hard to obtain special pipe, you know, a scam pipe, as I would put it. That's not outside of the range of possibilities. Now, this is not for months and months and months, you know, next year, you know, type of kind of a situation, or at least after the 3rd anniversary of the game anyway. To highlight the significance of what that tier increase would mean then, as Tier 80 is currently the maximum tier in the game, we have a member in the free-to-play community, Intenion. In the last tour, he reached Tier 70. Congratulations, Intenion. Huge congratulations is in order, as well as, I just have to slip it in here, Bolt on his top 100 finish. We'll wait to see if he made it into the top 25. So the free-to-play community is doing amazing stuff. So to go back to the Gold Mii here, you know, once it goes to Tier 90, that's not off limits for even free-to-play, right? So they're going to have to capitalize on getting this out in a pipe, selling it before it just becomes available to everyone for free through general progress in the game, right? I mean, that's the long term here we're talking about. And that's why it's so important what they're balancing this character to be, because any new item that comes in after that is going to have to deal with this, right? So this is not just a player now, it's a player in the future. And that has very significant influences in why I say that it's going to need to be capped, you know, real close to that 22 top shelf course mark that I was indicating that it likely would receive before we knew anything about all of these. Anyway, we're going to take a look at the rest of the Miis, and then a little bit of speculation hour to finish things off, just for some fun, right? You know, I'm all about the data and the hard facts here, but we're going to have a little bit of fun speculating, especially because I know a lot of folks are antsy about that. So King Boo Racing Suit here picked up the Rmx Ghost Valley, as well as the Shy Guy Bazaar T. So now he is up to, as well as the Bowser's Castle. So he picked up 3. So this is kind of like his version of Rosalina's 3 from the last tour. So he's up to 12 courses now. That's very impressive. as well as 9 middle shelf courses. So picked up 2 here, Bowser's Castle 1T, as well as Shy Guy Bazaar. King Baba Mii, can this thing keep going? It was on the fast track. It does. It picks up the Donut Plains, as well as the Bowser's Castle 1. So this is 13 courses. This is top of the mark for Mii Shop, and it's remarkable because he debuted after all the other ones and by the same means as those other ones. But I don't foresee this as like, it's going to balance out at some point, right, folks? I mean, certainly he is an early winner in this, but I think winning in the long-term sense will look a bit different than it does at this particular moment. Just something to keep in mind. It doesn't have a plus special skill. It does have that bonus points boost increase from the base points. 8 in the middle shelf, so it received 2 here. Still light, and this is the overall correlation that we see. More top shelf, less middle shelf. That's just, it's a correlation, right? It's not a very strong correlation, but it is a correlation nonetheless. So there will be a few outliers, but overall, that's the mode of how that system is operating right now. So we have Yoshi here, had 8 and 6 coming into this tour. Picked up the Mario Circuit, so we're now at 9, so that's 1 buff. And also the other Mario Circuit here, so that's a single buff on the middle shelf. So now we are up to 9 and 7, which is, you know, pretty average at this particular point in its lifespan. Mii Racing Suit, so will Birdo see the 3 buff favor in the next tour? But remember, it is thematically based, so I wouldn't go in with that expectation that Birdo's going to get the big buff next tour. Picked up actually a big buff this tour. What do you know? 3 courses overall. So that's pretty significant. In fact, it's now up to 12 courses. So it had its catch up early, and perhaps that's in a way signaling the value on, you know, what kind of courses we'll see in the next tour compared to what we're seeing in this tour. Certainly fits with that colorful theme, but also the villain theme going on there. So we can see it picked up the Shy Guy Bazaar. So 1 course there, just 7 in the middle shelf. And now let's take a look at the Mii Racing Suit. Was starting off with that very average value of 7 and 5. And it now has 9, 2 top shelf pickup there, and 1 in the middle shelf pickup. So we have 9 and 6, right on point. That's where Birdo's Mii Racing Suit was last tour. And now the brand new one. Will it be another 7 and 5? Let's see. Ooh, 6. That is brutal. That is brutal. That's right there with DK. And I mean, any surprise, folks, expecting anything different? They've done Wario pretty much just as poorly as they've done the Kongs, that is for sure. And 4 in the middle shelf, they don't even give it the middle shelf favor there. This is rough starting value. It can catch up because look, it's all based on what courses are available. We know it's going to gain access to like the Wario shipyard, so don't lose sight of things there. And now we get to the speculation, folks. That blockhead, is it going to have the coin box rather? Or is it going to be like Broke Monsieur, whatever, the character that comes from past Mario games, right? It certainly seems like it's going to be a coin box based on the bevels. Very convincing arguments that have been made with evidence to support that. However, the cap in the front does kind of make you wonder. There's no bevel on the front, although that is standard when we look at the reverse facing suits that are available, such as the King Boo and the Nabbit one. You know, that front side of the helmet or the back side of the head is relatively vague in that sense. So if they do present a coin box Mii in the next wave, simultaneous to the vast majority of folks who are up in the nosebleed tiers receiving their Gold Mii Racing Suit, what are the expectations then for value? Well, it's going to look a lot like the Wario that we just took a look at, and even more so long-term like that DK Mii Racing Suit. because they can't just sell one for 70 rubies and then eventually 100 afterwards and give that premium value. I use the terminology cost of entry, right? To gain access to these items, and 70 rubies can't command the same premium that this can, 80 tiers of grind, right? It just can't do it. However, if it's presented with that, it's going to, present some niche destruction, right? It's probably going to have access to maybe one track that's unique to it. It's going to displace the value and niche, perhaps, of existing Coinbox drivers. These ones that you have investments into, perhaps developed sentimentality for, such as Kamek, King Bob-omb Gold, Mii Hour. These are all at risk when things like this are being brought to the game, as well as deflating the value marginally of the Gold Mii Racing Suit, because any course it overlaps the Gold Mii with equal investment will present an equally powerful option on that course. Granted, the return value, the ROI on those tickets that you're investing will be much less on a suit that has a very limited track selection than would be the Gold Mii. But that's the speculatory sense of where things could go. It is not confirmed at this particular time that will be a Coinbox Mii Racing Suit in addition to the Gold Mii Racing Suit. And what that really does is it highlights, the word that I use is exploitation, right? And, forcing players in the sense of they've created this framework of how the score works, right? Like if they wanted to at the start of this game, they could have made Heart the best special skill, right? Coinbox was the one, right? That was going to be the breadwinner of all of the special skills that they brought into the game, and it really has been. And now they're playing with fire. They're really playing with fire, and if they bring in a second one, which seems to be the case because they have multiple Lucky 7 Mii Racing Suits, so multiple of the Coinbox does not seem far-fetched at all. Just be warned, folks, the value is going to be very low return, okay? So if you want to proceed forward with investing into that, even purchasing it, it's going to provide you with one thing, but you're going to have to invest into level 7, level 8 perhaps, to compete on the highest level with other people who may be doing that. So that's part of like the rat race, or on the wheel as I speak, and that's where the developers have players. And I just want to say that if for any chance that were to be what happens and it plays out exactly as stated in this speculation piece on what the next Mii Racing Suit will be, I will say you don't have to feel pressured to go into that. There are alternative folks. That's what this channel is about, right? I really like to see the strength and the enthusiasm in the community survive. And look, the developers are going to do what they have to do to, reach their goals in terms of revenue to keep the game going. So if you are one of the ones out there that supports the game, that will go in and invest into these very limited low value return items, because it does provide that extra little something that will give you an edge in the competition for top 10 ACR or ranked mode at the very top tier. Then we give you a collective thank you. It's really thanks to the willingness and of players to go there. And that's that kind of, because in a way, like I talk about, like, hey, when the game's not so swell, I lean on the community because everyone is so amazing there. But in a way, the community exists because the game still exists too. So much is placed on those players out there that do support the product to such a great degree. But if you aren't someone that's able to responsibly do that, okay, and I put the emphasis on the word responsibly, then don't feel bad that you might miss out on some premium value on just like, a couple of courses, folks. Have a more balanced approach optimize your gameplay, and that way you can get more bang for your buck on your ticket investments. You know, make use of the spreadsheets that are out there, the coverage optimizer tool that enhances the power of those spreadsheets. And then what you can do is, through the saved resource value that you obtained, you can apply that to power your account further, to really save money and the value of things that exist in your account. That's the way for that kind of player to proceed forward. And then of course, if you are free to play, or even if you're a new player, then at this stage, I don't know. I don't know if I can keep recommending I want to see how the landscape proceeds further before making more sweeping statements on this regard. But I think if you're a player that's spending a lot of money to catch up at this point, how much longer will this go on for? How sustainable is the game in this state? I don't have an answer for you. I'm always very honest with you. But it's questionable if that will extend beyond, you know, a 5th year. It looks not at the current rate of things, but that can change, okay? And it depends on how things proceed forward in the coming months. So extra layer of caution to that kind of player that's out there. And to conclude the Mii Hour, we are going to just share the stats on where the Miis stand across the entire coverage of Mario Kart Tour. And as of the Amsterdam Tour, those 194 assumed value courses, the Mii Racing Suits covered 77 of them. So that's 39.7%. Compared to that of the optimal 15 driver combination, right? Because we had 15 Mii Racing Suits, and that will be 16 with the Wario, but those stats are not yet available at the time of this recording. Of those 15, 189 of the 194 assumed value courses, that's 97.4%, folks. So 39%, 97%. I mean, that's the value of the Miis overall. Certainly the value on them is going to be specifically the heavy hitters of the bunch, and then the rest will be to prop up the value of those select few. And another thing to note too, if you are somehow investing into all of these or multiple of these, of those 77 assumed value courses that are covered by the Miis, only 35 of them are unique to a single Mii, so there's overlap on greater than 50%, right? So that's 45.5% unique coverage for the Miis of the assumed value courses that they have access to. So with that out of the way, wow, we went really deep into this Mii Hour. Fun to speculate a little bit at the end, but provide that all important context, very important. If you appreciate this content, be sure to drop a like and subscribe. It really goes a long way in facilitating additional content of this quality in the future, and I thank you so much for that support. All right, to finish up, folks, I think we're gonna go run through these coconut malls, and then today's challenge pipe, fire a freebie, and it's a good place to end it. So let's just go through here. See what the OG Coconut Mall is all about, right? The colors are so vibrant, kind of like that. Have they done anything different with the course? I haven't raced on this since the original Coconut Mall, and this one already, because it doesn't have the escalator, is replaced with those colored ones. So there's all kinds of different ways to go through this. It's really remarkable. So there's the fountain. It's going to be fun to figure out the best lines in this for multiplayer too. I'm sure Tabor out there, who did amazing work in quantifying the different routes for Yoshi Valley, will be his splendid and exemplary work once again for Coconut Mall in determining what's the value and the risk. Oh, there's the pill skill. Cool. So when they explode, then they don't stay on the track like the hammer, and they don't leave a coin or any other kind of thing that's out there. Picked up the slipstream right there as we tried to snipe them. Let's try to stay up here. We get some dash panels, some jump boosts, so it looks like those coins will be back on the track, which is good news for everybody as far as I'm concerned. So the bot perfectly timed things there. Yeah, I think there's alternative routes to take when going here too. Yes, there is. So try going through here. Wow, that looks so cool, so vibrant, so nice. In the glider section, we can see the ship and all of that stuff in the background there. Gonna fire that. Yes, we got the hit. But wow, Shy Guy is messing things up for us. We don't get a jump boost off the carts. Interesting. Usually in every other track that's a jump boost, so that's pretty cool to see. Pick up 12K on the first place there. So yeah, I think that's really cool. I'm excited to go through all the different routes. Obviously, there's going to be a different optimal route for multiplayer as there will be for single player for scoring, because complete polar opposite concepts, right? Tabor, in fact, put it probably most eloquently out of anyone out there, in that the goal of Mario Kart Tour, now this is in single player, is to stay on the track for as long as possible, right? And that's what gets the maximum amount of scoring potential, while also trying to come in first place at the very end, of course. But the longer you can stay on the track, that's, you know, extra mini turbos, extra jump boosts, extra coins. So complete opposite from multiplayer, which is trying to finish in the quickest amount of time, which is more in line with the time trial philosophy there. So that is Coconut Mall normal version. These I'm actually more excited about. I have reverse version and trick version. These have never been seen before, so this is totally brand new here. Gonna go with the pink and the white. Gotta go for the aesthetics a little bit sometimes, folks, right? Still can't get over the story great sale. I mean, it's picking up value, and it's already forming optimal combinations, not overlapping the other top one. So, oh, that's right, we gotta go this way. So reverse is in full effect here. I should really pay attention, actually. Oh, that is so cool. Wow, look at that, folks. There's glass lining the stairway up. That is really wicked. Wow. Oh my goodness. A lot of these tracks from Mario Kart Tour, I just love the R versions. You know, like most notably, like DK Summit R is perhaps my favorite track in the entire game even. I mean, certainly in multiplayer it is. So wow, there's only an escalator going down. I missed chaining my items there. This is just so exciting. I mean, it feels like you're in a brand new mall. I mean, it's almost like they need one of those like "you are here" icons in the shopping center, right? Because it's like so easy to get lost. Oh, I kind of wanted to go below. I decided on that too late. This is just, I am floored by this. There's the restaurant. Wow, this is just incredible. You know, when we talk about reactions being oohs and ahs, this one is worth every ooh and ah that we can provide. That much is for sure here. So actually, let's go around this way. I mean, it's like, I can imagine the folks who really break down the courses and the assets will have so much fun, like going backwards and all the crazy stuff that's done out there, and just seeing like what kind of assets exist in that setting there. But that's amazing. I mean, I didn't even see probably half the routes that are available there, but just like what I saw was like so good, so good. So what are they going to have for the T version? Well, that's going to be like the normal version, but we do know that the ramp seems to go up to the beach. So let's see what that has to offer there. And actually, let's go with DK. Let's go with the middle shelf. They made a point of giving him that value, so let's go for it. Looks really good. That's actually my loadout for Merry Mountain R Nitro track. Anyway. So, it will be interesting to see if going up this escalator, no, there's going to be no extra actions, but we do have those jumps. There's jumps here. So those weren't there. Only the dash panels were there in the normal version. So we have a ramp with dash panels and a jump boost there. But if we go down, we can get an extra jump boost there. So there's really a lot of options there. It looks like there's little groove jump boost, a ramp with stuff going on there. I mean, this is just jam-packed. I really wonder what the action counts can look like on this. Let's go to the top first here, right? So we get a jump boost, the glider section, let's see. So there's the ramp. Yeah, look at that. They prevent us from taking the normal road, and now we're on the beach. Oh, that is so cool. That is so cool. All right. So now let's see. I'm just curious. What if you go up the red? How slow is that? It's not that much slower. I mean, it is noticeable, but not, you know. All right. So what path did we take on the way up? I think we took the one to the left, right? So we're gonna go to the right. We're gonna go through the food court. Get a jump boost here. So what happens? Okay, so this just goes down to the ramp, and then we also take the same pathway forward. Missed a lot of action on this, but that's part of the fun in going through this. There's so many different routes, so be worth the time in mastering those lines. I think this one will feel perhaps one of the most rewarding of all, right up there with Yoshi Valley, perhaps even more so, because the differences in each version are just so remarkable, really. All right, let's do today's challenge and then see where we're at with the pipes. Fire Rosalina, she's in a pack this tour. So I guess they're trying to say, hey, do you like Fire Rosalina? Give her a try and see if she's worth worth the real world value on that. Well, not if you're not going to give me a frenzy Mario Kart Tour. Have fun with them a little bit, right? Watch, I'll get like a double coin frenzy now. They're like, oh wait, KG might buy her if he gets a frenzy. Oh, let's have fun with them and see what happens. No. Conspiracy theory put to rest on that one. So what do you folks think? What is your favorite part of this tour? For me, it's without a question the new Coconut Mall. I mean, you know, it's going to be several hours of just immersing yourself in it and finding the different routes. And especially like with regards to multiplayer then, so you master your line for multiplayer, you master your line for single player. There's definitely a lot to do. My ranked cups, it looks like I'm not going to be doing much. If anything, I'll just look to see if there's opportunity, you know, perhaps, you know, if this isn't one where I'm going to find a first place. Certainly not going to find a first place given my loadouts. But, you know, if it gets really soft, oh, there's the coin frenzy. Thank you, Intern 4. A little bit too late to purchase the bundle, though. Anyway. You know, maybe I'll grind out, look for opportunities to put some tickets into supers or whatnot on some things, or like, you know, the Starry Great Sale if I decide that week 1 is better to sandbag there. Kind of like find the maximum way to get value. That's something I have to look at. I don't decide that on day 1. I recommend those of you folks out there, wait to make your moves. That's how you get the most value for each of your ticket investments there. So we have a green pipe. I didn't look at my totals going into this, so totally in the dark on this. Let's see what we get. I like that. That's good stuff, folks. That makes up for the ranked rewards I won't be getting this tour. That's for sure, right? 40 rubies at 400 coins per ruby is 16,000 coins, so not entirely all the way there. But anyway, cleared out some stuff here. Gonna pick up some coins. That's phenomenal. Love seeing that big coin pick up on that. Just means the shops will have to heat up one of these days to make use of those coins. Let's see where we're at with the tour gifts. It's going to be a cart in this. We already saw the drivers are in the token shop. Picking up that big sum of rubies up front. All right, so can we do a token shop pipe? No, we can't, but that means that there's just extra pipes to fire when I come on and I do that entire video with you. I've had a lot of fun doing those. So we'll just fire off this one freebie now. I wish you the best of luck in these pipes. Many of you will be saving, so a lot of us will be looking to pick up whatever value we can in these free pipes. Of course, if Dr. Mario is your thing, phenomenal. I'm so happy for you, and hopefully you don't have to go too deep to pick up those items. First one for us is going to be a greener. Given the token shop pipe, though, we don't mind whatever this is. The 10,000 coins goes a long way. So thank you so much, everybody, for tuning in to this one. Really exciting to see Coconut Mall, the development, the most recent developments in the Mario Kart Tour ecosystem. So much fun to see. All your support is so very welcome, and we'll be seeing you very soon with more data-driven, comprehensive content, special pipe analysis. So a lot of great things to look forward to. Take care and have a really marvelous one, folks. Bye-bye.